The history of computer security. From 1970 to 1989, telephone networks. While perhaps the earliest instance of computer security arose out from a need to physically protect hardware, the most modern problems of remote security didn't take shape until curious individuals began exploring and eventually compromising the increasingly complex and automated telephone networks. The first example of this occurred after the first computerized switchboard was bought online in 1976. By 1982, half of all the calls were switched electronically. The modem. As technology matured, the modem became a common tool for remote computing. The FBI began getting involved in remote computer security breaches as it became increasingly a commonplace throughout the 1980s, promoting the passage of computer fraud and abuse attack. Viruses. While there may be a debate about the first malicious computer programs on the UNIVAC 1108 and the IBM S360 in the 1960s or 70s, the most notable concerns persisted after the personal computer began making its way into households. The 1980s gave rise to the secondary computer security problem of the computer virus. Once IBM and Symantec started researching methods of discovering and deleting viruses from infected computers, as well as ways of preventing infection, virus writers began increasing the sophistication of their methods to avoid detection. 1990 to 2009. The Internet. While most of the security issues in the 1980s involved directly communicating with a computer or a network via a modem, the Internet created a vastly underprotected interconnectivity of networks that made security even more complicated. Whereas before, protecting a single access point was the principal concern, with the Internet, there are problems of seemingly limitless number of virtual access points coming through persistent connections with often unknown entities outside the network. Firewalls. While first created by Cisco in the 1980s, firewalls did not become a principal network security technology for the Internet until there was significant need to secure sensitive systems. Firewalls are useful in that they become the central gatekeeper for all incoming and outgoing connections. Centralizing this type of security problems, the benefits ensuring that certain restricted communications are allowed or disallowed depending on a predetermined rule. Escalated attacks. As the number of companies and government organizations throughout the world increased their dependency on computers and the Internet, so did malicious attacks. Companies began steadily increasing their security policies to keep pace with growth. Eventually, the government begins to mandate computer security compliance for major companies. Now let's discuss securing networks with access control lists, commonly referred to as ACLs. ACLs are a network filter utilized by routers and some switches to permit and restrict data flows into and out of network interfaces. When an ACL is configured on an interface, the network devices analyze the data passing through the interface, compares it to the criteria described in the ACLs, and either permits the data to flow or prohibits it. Variety of reasons we use ACLs. The primary reason is to provide a basic level of security for the network. ACLs are not as complex and in-depth of protection as state firewalls, but they do provide protection on a higher speed interfaces where the line rate speed is important and firewalls may be restrictive. ACLs are also used to restrict updating for routing from network peers and can be instrumental in defining flow control for network traffic. Let's now look at types of access control techniques. Is a system mechanism that controls access to an object and an individual user, and it protects them from altering access. Rule-based access control, lattice-based access control, discriminatory access control. Here, an individual user can set an access control mechanism to allow or deny access to an object. Originator-controlled access control. A system mechanism that controls access to an object and an individual user prevents them from altering that access. Thank you.